There are several of you that will be listening to this that have heard probably this analogy before, at least have heard this example reference before, and that is, what do you do when you walk into your house and there's a crack in the wall? Do you fix the crack in the wall, or do you look to the source of the problem, and that being the foundation? You know, cracks in the wall, windows not working, doors not shutting right, especially on old houses, usually is typical and symptomatic of a deeper problem, which is the foundation. And it's so interesting how Jesus makes this so clear even 2,000 plus years ago that it's the same thing. Have you read this before in Matthew chapter 7? Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, the rivers rose, the winds blew, and pounded that house. That's what it says. Yet it didn't collapse because its foundation was on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and doesn't act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And when the rain fell, rivers rose, the winds blew, pounded that house, it collapsed. It collapsed with a great crash. It is so interesting that Jesus, even though that was written so many years ago, is so relevant today, right? It is so interesting that when Jesus talks about those symptoms in our life, those things, marriage, finances, issues with parenting, all of those hurts, habits, and hang-ups that, you know, really are just symptomatic of our deeper addictions. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's drugs, maybe it's pornography, maybe it's rage. All of those things. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't try to fix them, but I'm saying all of those things that we see and we call messiness and we call sin, they're symptoms, man. They're not the root problem. The root problem, what Jesus said, is that when we open this word, or that when we hear Jesus' words, we have a choice. We can either do it after we hear it, or we cannot do it. Jesus said, when your house gets pounded, when your life gets pounded, the only solution is to turn to Him. What did He say regarding your issues? Now, the first issue that all of us have is whether or not we have responded, we have obeyed after we heard Jesus speaking to us in our spirit, in our heart, in our mind, and saying, look, come to me, come to me. You don't have to understand all this stuff. You don't have to get religious. You don't even have to go to a church house to invite me into your life. You want to survive the pounding that life can give us. Jesus said, come to me. Build your foundation on me. And so today, the bottom line is this. We all got problems. We all are messy. But what is our foundation? And if you've not invited Jesus into your life, I pray today that you will do that. That is the bottom line for taking a beating in this life. God bless you.